Hello best friends, in this video we're going to challenge Tom Ford Ombre leather against its more expensive brother Tuscan leather, and at the end of the video I'm going to show you a fragrance that's 80% less in cost value, price value proposition. If you want to smell like a millionaire, because millionaires buy $400 bottles of fragrances, keep on watching this video. Along the way I'll show you some comparisons to what people think on the outside looking in about leather fragrances in general, and compare it to Creed Aventus even to give you an idea, is it good for you or not good for you. Without fail, you can spray on the Tom Ford Ombre leather and you will get compliments. It starts out kind of fresh. Some will compliment you, some won't. I actually took Creed Aventus and Tom Ford Ombre leather to a convention and asked people, the mass public, if you were somebody outside the box looking in, whether you should buy a leather fragrance or the Creed Aventus, because they're both very expensive fragrances. Women or all the mass public chose Tom Ford Ombre leather over Creed Aventus, and these are people that don't generally smell fragrances, you know, because you sample them. 2 out of 3 people chose this smell. That's so if you're considering working with somebody, they chose the smell over this. To give you an idea of which one you should buy. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm saying what people around you, if you thought outside the box. Check the video reactions right here. Now, for twice the price of this almost, you can get Tom Ford Tuscan leather. What does this have? It has an interesting raspberry note that kind of gives you a bad boy effect that says, I shower but I'm still clean. It changes into a layer of smoke and leather. Super soft, expensive leather. There's a touch of incense in the base of Tuscan leather. When it dries down to a rich, exotic, clean, thick, smoked leather aroma, just with that raspberry in the background after it dries down, but it's absolutely perfectly placed. There's no doubt about it that these are well worth their money. If you're considering to buy one or the other, you have to think about it like this. One of them could be a Tom Ford leather jacket. Another one could be a Hugo Boss leather jacket. They're both leather jackets. They're both high-end. One is just a little bit more comfortable. One makes you feel slightly different. I mean, it's just such a small percentage, but some people I know want the best of everything at no cost, even the best fuel in their car. It doesn't matter. Now, 2018, this Tom Ford Ombre leather came out, and that was a great year for fragrances because Paco Rabanne 1 Million Lucky came out, Acqua di Gio Absolute came out, and Tom Ford launched this fragrance Ombre leather in 2016 as a private edition, which looks like this bottle, and it was very much higher priced, and then they re-released it into this bottle, making it for the mass public. Right now the discounters have this bottle around $130, $120, and in department stores, Sephora, United States prices $180. The strangest thing about these two fragrances, Ombre leather is a bit spicier in the opening than Tuscan leather, but in the dry down it reverses and the Ombre leather becomes a little bit more sweet, and this becomes a little bit more smoky. They both have a definition of smokiness to them both. And if you wanted a similar scent, more expensive, you would try to find something called Godolphin. Now I'm going to go over some similar scents cheaper, and one of them is called Honey Oud by Montal. I don't have it, but it has a lot of similarities. And as I did this fragrance notes test, it has leather, amber, and patchouli and florals, and it lasts a super long time, and it's found for $70. So it has a lot of similar notes to these Tom Ford Ombre leather. And then there's another fragrance called La Yakawam, which is about the same smell. A lot of people on blogs talk about. The best fragrance I found is called Rare Carbon. Stands right up next to this. In the high heat, it actually stuck on my skin 100 times better than this Tom Ford Ombre leather. Again, it's a different fragrance company by Afnan, but when it dries down 15 minutes later, you can't barely tell them apart. I believe this fragrance projects stronger than the Ombre leather. The difference is the feeling you get when you wear them. You can experience a different effect of some sort, but who cares? They smell identical. This thing lasts. Some people on blogs told me this thing lasts 24 hours. I'm getting 12, 15 hours, no problem. And here's a quick story. A great story is Raul from Missouri, who plays the guitar for a rock and roll blues band. After the show, he was sitting at the bar with husbands and wives, and the wives kept begging him, hey, you smell so good, Raul. What is that you're wearing? And Raul wouldn't tell him. It's up to you if you're going to tell him. If you get this fragrance is 80% cheaper in price than this. The links are down below. I highly, highly recommend it. If you're looking for a leather fragrance, again, maybe you don't want a leather fragrance, but if you do, Rare Carbon is a similar scent cheaper.